Well, once again, I find myself in my backyard. Been reading some scholarly literature on the Dead Sea Scrolls and the significance of a related theme with the Council of the Gods that I've been elaborating on for the last few videos. And that is the theme of the deification of mankind. Seems to me like the scholarship has come together and discussed this very interesting process of the deification of mankind and the idea that we are of one cloth with the divine and the glory, the kavod of Yahweh, the glory of Yahweh. Angels, gods, and men are all participating in one form or another, either here on earth or in heaven, with the themes of mankind's redemption. And it is so fascinating to me to see how the various scholars and the ranges of scholarship put this idea together, that the idea of being saved is being saved not only from death, but from mortality, because immortality. What is immortality? That's a property of the gods, is it not? It definitely is. Scholarship has come up with some very interesting themes of the Council of the Gods in the Dead Sea Scrolls, as well as the deification, the angel morphology of mankind. And they use Moses and Enoch and the great high priest from the temple as examples of this. And I've got a wonderful article by Crispin T.H. Fletcher Lewis that I want to share with you on the angelology of man in the Dead Sea Scrolls. I found myself a nice rock to stand against. Crispin H.T. Fletcher Lewis, in the Dead Sea Discoveries, Volume 7, Number 3, for the year 2000, has an article he calls Some Reflections on Angel-Morphic Humanity Texts Among the Dead Sea Scrolls. He's discussing the idea of ancient Jewish angelology and the theme how humanity can actually share with the angels, what the Germans call an Engelgemeinschaft. That is, we share a community with the angels. We share common goals. We share common characteristics and features with the angels. And this is a big theme in the Dead Sea Scrolls. It's also a big theme in early Christianity, and it's a big theme in Mormonism as well. The idea is that human life, our religious life, even our economic life, and maybe even our political life, except for the corruption, of course, our politics are far too short-sighted to be of any use to anyone much, but we share a time and a thought which is a mirror of the heavens. Our earth life here reflects the heavenly life there. It's a very interesting theme how he brings this out. One feature of the late temple angelology that has only recently come to the fore in our modern discussion is the way in which the righteous are themselves regarded as angelic. Now that's an interesting theme, isn't it? Texts where humans are angel-morphic, he explores this. That is, they have the status of angels, and this is in the Second Temple Judaism period. The Dead Sea Scrolls is a rough sort of a chronology, even though it is disputed. We're talking from 300 BC to 100 AD as a rough sort of chronology. This is Second Temple Judaism. We share angel-morphic portrayals, angel-morphic characteristics with the heavens. And two such prominent figures that Fletcher Lewis discusses are the great high priest in the Jerusalem temple and Moses, the lawgiver. The Dead Sea Scrolls, in various types of texts and fragments that Fletcher Lewis explores, shows how these two humans were actually deified. On page 293 of Fletcher Lewis's article, he says aside from the Hebrew Bible, which has already evidenced an interest in an angelomorphic understanding of kingship, so the king himself is transformed. That's interesting. He cites 1 Samuel 29:2, 2 Samuel 14:17 and verse 20, 2 Samuel chapter 19 verse 17, Zechariah 12:8, and he says compare Ezekiel 28 verses 14 and 16. So look those up and see. The angel morphology of kings is also prominent in the Hebrew Bible, showing that there isn't a strict separation of species between humans and the divine, at least not with the angels. This theme is very interesting in relation with the council of the gods that I've been elaborating on also. The righteous are described as being angelic. That's what he means by angelomorphic. And in the book of Enoch, for instance, chapter 89, he says Moses' transformation from a bull to a man represents his exaltation from the level of humanity to that of an angelic level of being. That's interesting. Such a transformation is spelt out in clearer terms by the priestly Sirach. The Greek translation of Sirach says that God made Moses like unto the holy ones in glory, the doxahagion in the Greek. This is in the Sirach text. And he made him great, to the terror of his enemies. We can be sure that the translator, at least, thought Moses had a specifically angelomorphic glory here. And the reason we know that is because the Hebrew text of the Ginza manuscript B has the word Elohim, which is the Hebrew plural for gods, and it is the generic term for God. It's got the masculine plural ending, im. It has this, where Sirach calls them the holy ones. So we know this is a transformation from the human to the divine. That's very interesting, isn't it? How he explores this. Sirach is an important text for understanding the Qumran literature, since his priestly language and theology in many ways anticipates the same language and theology of the community. Far more than Moses, though, Sirach is interested in the high priest of the temple. As C.T.R. Hayward has recently shown, the Hebrew author of the text describes Aaron in terms of the divine warrior. Now, this is interesting. I just recently, in my research this last week, I have acquired yet again probably 5 or 6 more scholarly references, articles, themes, and ideas on this divine warrior from the heavenly perspective of Yahweh as the divine warrior, as well as this earthly perspective of certain types of humans who portray this divine warrior. Aaron is one of these. So this is interesting how the mixing between deification, deity, and humanity occurs, what we're looking at here. On page 294, Fletcher Lewis says, the language echoes the use of the Psalms in Sirach, when he is clothed in perfect beauty, for instance, and he's beautified him with glory and strength. Now, glory is also used for the Spirit of God. So when a man is clothed with glory, he is clothed with the Spirit of God, and that is a transformation process. This is the theme Enoch is describing as Moses being transformed from a bull to a man. Perhaps in psychological terms, being transformed from his lower animal nature into his divine nature, from the bull to the man. Because God is portrayed as a man in so many of these ancient texts. It's an interesting situation.